As I'm saying this out loud, I'm realizing the government's supposed to be doing that.
Like, right.
Supposed to.
I think that, like, my idea, like, as we're talking about this, that could help people, I feel like, is that everybody like her and you and others we've talked to kind of get with all their people that's in a network here and kind of share knowledge. It's some kind of like meetup event, something. Because but if you have people that have like knowledge of the geography, knowledge of what's going on with the dirt, building knowledge, whatever, budgets for stuff, I feel like there's a lot of, it's like the game of telephone, dude. It's like, well, I know this guy who's a builder and he said it's going to cost this and this to do that.
Yeah.
Or I know somebody from the city and they said they're not doing that. And it's like, dude, if people could just like, I don't know, dude, supposedly with me paying for Zoom, like I could have like 1,000 people or something at once. Like, no, you can have like 1,000, like literally like 500 or 1,000. And just have them all in a meeting and to say like, okay, here's what we found, here's what we found. And what's crazy is as I'm saying this out loud, I'm realizing the government's supposed to be doing that.
Like, right.
Supposed to.
We're supposed to have like the EPA doing this one thing, and we're supposed to
Yeah.
have like the military, Army Corps engineers telling us another, like whatever, like just go down the line.
We the people have
I'll go ahead. I'll be the one. I'll be the one to say it. It needs to be said. Just man, our government has done nothing but drop the ball on us.
Seriously,
They have.
The fact that everyone, if I was directly affected, I don't know how everyone down there is just being as understanding as y'all are.
Oh, we're not.
I know.
we just keep moving forward.
But some people are.
Like
Yeah.
to me, I view it as nothing other than treason.
It is treason. We're very angry. We're very angry, and I try to keep that off my Facebook for the most part about how angry I am about it, but it really eats at us.
It should be looked at as treason. It's they're taking our tax dollars to fund this branch of government. They have one job, and they're giving it to the southern border crisis because they announced that as a natural disaster. I don't know if you know what natural disaster is, FEMA.
Right.
No, that's a man-made disaster.
Consequence to an action that was made. There was a choice made, and it was the wrong one. And now we're declaring something a natural disaster. That's not the definition. Just like that vaccine. Vaccines stop viruses.
It's not a vaccine.
Yeah, exactly.
The mechanism of it is not a vaccine.
It's like you can flag me, you can do whatever you want. You won't silence me though. I'll just go somewhere else. It's
go somewhere else and yell louder.
Yeah, that's what we do.
And our Biden administration came out and said last week, until Trump takes office, we are going to allocate every penny that we possibly can to Ukraine. And it's like,
I know.
How is this not treason, guys? This
I
is
think it was 725 million. Actually, our video for Spruce Pine that I uploaded today, the one that we did in Spruce Pine 2 days ago, I put that at the end of the title, and it says, "Meanwhile, 725 million to Ukraine." It has nothing to do with the rest of the title. I just wanted people to know that, because
it needs to be out there. Like, it's public information, and yet people are just like, "Oh, okay." And it's like, to the people who are like, "Don't you want to help Ukraine?" It's like, this is how I put it. It's like, okay, here's a deathbed, and here's another deathbed. On this deathbed is your mother. On this deathbed is your best friend's mother. You can only save one. Who are you going to save?
Right.
You're going to save that's America. You can't just fix that. You can't save you just can't save. No, I don't want anyone struggling.
We have people freezing to death in the mountains who paid taxes their entire lives, tried to have flood insurance but couldn't, and worked their asses off, but yet they're freezing to death in a tent in a first world country.
Yeah, I mean
that's embarrassing, dude. Like, that's seriously embarrassing.
Probably and they had a home 2 months ago.
Yeah, they're not like drug addicts who are just homeless or whatever.
Their house is gone. Their family members are gone. Their jobs gone. Their cars gone, and they're living in a tent in America. Like, seriously, 2 months later.
And they're still the most patriotic people on the planet.
Absolutely,
for real. Did you? Oh wait, before I ask you an actual question that's important, I need to ask. I'm just gonna say this like in my own way, so
Like
that
a preface.
it doesn't sound crazy. And the people who understand will get it. Do you think this was a natural disaster?
Again, in every video you hear me say, it just doesn't feel real. That's
Yeah.
Okay, that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah. See, I just, natural is subjective, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But did you get people telling you like their plans? Meaning, like, I understand, like, we're having to deal with things day to day, but did they have plans? Like, okay, I'm gonna sell this land the first chance I get, or I'm gonna move to this place and do that, or like, did anybody have any like, were
People
they?
just wanted to rebuild. The only talks of selling I heard was our wonderful FEMA friends offers.
Yeah.
I've never heard one over $21,000. And every single property that I was talking to the homeowner about was always a 5 to 10 acre plus farm.
No.
But we can
You
offer
know,
you.
it's funny. It's funny you said $21,000 because anybody who actually reads their website, you may not know this, the most they can give for a property is $42,500, and I believe they give you half up front, which would be $21,250.
Yeah.
It was 19,
So,
19 to 21 was the number I heard 100% of the time.
Oh my God.
and
I,
were they coming in like boom, like making those offers, like
Actually, every single one that I heard of was the first few days I was there. Yeah.
Wow.
wow. So, like, yeah, you're not like actually helping anyone, but you're offering to.
To buy their
Was
home.
there, did people just basically feel abandoned from what you could
Oh
tell?
God, yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
but in the same breath though, they never felt more taken care of because they never really expected the government to do anything. So
Yeah.
You know, we keep hearing that. Like, we keep hearing that the government has never cared about Appalachia. We never expected them to show us any respect.
Yeah, that's what we've heard from a lot of people.
And being from somewhere else, like, that's new to me. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
Michigan originally, so it's it's humbling to see, the way, I mean, we've said it already, the way people have come together here, but it really does feel like that. We've heard it from several people now that like, well, we never expected them to do anything for us anyway. They've never done anything for us. And it's like,
it
yeah,
was,
I mean, sure as hell looks that way.
and this isn't a stab at California by saying this is just fact. I served with someone from every state except for Alaska and California.
Really?
And I mean,
Yeah,
I'm talking
in
the people
California.
who came from the West, they were only here for 2, 3 days. Some of them only here for one. They drove 10 times longer than they freaking worked. They just wanted to,
Wow.
I mean, Idaho, Texas, South Dakota, I mean, all over, man. Like, this was America, this show. I mean, it was, no one made
Yeah.
me do it. I mean, and to take it a step further, most people were not in a financial situation to do so.
No,
That's the thing
yeah.
that keeps blowing my mind, dude. Like, you guys had basically, you have a charitable organization, so that kind of helps. But yeah, I've heard people just drop what they're doing. They have a business
Yeah, we met that girl Sadie did that when we had an
and
interview with
just
her
like hope
on
for the
here.
best.
And they just kind of, flew by the seat of their pants, man, and came down here and just, helped and had all these donations and they had everything under the sun go wrong and they still, got everything to places that needed it. I mean, that's like the stories we've heard from a lot of people. I had a lady and her husband show up from Minnesota to help on my survival gear mission that I had no idea who they were. She sent me like one message on Facebook and I thought scammer, so I didn't answer it.
Oh
But they
yeah.
knew the name, so they showed up that day, and she's like, "Oh, I'm Jesse," and I'm like, "Oh my God, okay,
Oh,
so
you were
you're
for
legit."
real.
And we were like low on heaters. We're supposed to get more heaters than we thought, and they're like, "Well, we'll go buy them." These people just went to Lowe's or wherever out of their pockets, and they came back with 15 buddy heaters. I was like, oh, that's incredible. And they're not
Yeah.
rich, well-to-do people either. They were down here for their anniversary and they wanted to help while they were here.
That's
Yeah.
I know them.
oh,
I
Yeah.
you do?
know them.
The
No kidding.
Minnesota people. Jesse, and I don't remember her husband's name. I feel really
I
bad.
don't either. He had a tractor though.
A
He
tractor.
he was
Yes, they were talking about because
Yeah, that's
he's
something you don't forget. It's
he's a
our
builder.
anniversary.
Yeah,
exactly what it was. That's exactly
he
what
does
it was.
construction and stuff. He's like, well, at some point, if you guys need help with that, we want to come back down. And I'm like, okay, yeah, yeah, here on their anniversary. I was like, what? That's crazy.
Incredible.
Wow.
Yeah. I know those guys. Yeah, they actually helped that Springwell lady's property while we were building that. He was grading up her property and
Oh my God.
doing the drainage into the creek. Yeah, that's crazy.
That is crazy. Yeah, they were really, really cool people. And I hope to work with y'all again if you guys see this.
Likewise, I like your tractor, sir.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy. I mean, I got guys down there that are literally going back for a week just to work so they can come back and buy more materials. Like,
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy? Like you hear people say things like that. They say, I want to come back.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you want to come back and deal with this and breathe this and, leave your own world behind. So it is pretty amazing. I mean, I think that personally, we heard from the guy yesterday that we dropped off supplies to that he feels like the mood has been elevated since the election.
A little bit, yeah.
And yeah, you think so? Have you noticed that too? Like as far as like people that are affected here?
I mean,
That's what
I know,
Yeah.
no, I don't know half, but I would assume half the people down there that I talked to were waiting specifically to see how the election played out to see their next move. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We all were.
There were people that were I mean, that you lost your house, you lost your car, you got a missing family member, you can't go to work, you're starving. But a lot of people's first thought was, dude, how am I gonna vote?
Yeah.
So that shows you that people
They
like,
care.
yeah, they care. And we were trying to take people to and from to vote because it
Yeah.
was so important to them.
yeah, no,
And we're going to be critical, dude, because I mean, like they had that promise. JD Vance promised, I will not forget. In
Mm-hmm.
that town hall, he was asked specifically, he said, I will not forget Western North Carolina. As soon as we're in, we'll do this and that. And to be honest with you, it's like what you're saying. What the hell are you really going to do? I mean, everything's just like kind of affected in every bad way possible. And it's like, I don't even care what you do particularly. Just show up.
Do something.
Like, show that
show
you
me.
give it.
Yeah. Do something. And
I feel like Biden could have pretended like he cared. Like,
Could
these
have.
guys aren't even good at the political lying. Like, you're supposed to be a good liar. That's what you do. Like,
Hunter's not going to pardon himself, okay?
right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. You tell him you got a good plug down here, dude, and some girls that are like of questionable age. He might show up and help.
He'll be on the Air Force One. I know where I need to go next.
Yeah, dude, I don't know what he would do, but be honest, I feel stupid sometimes, like in this area because it's like I don't know how to do most of the shit that these dudes are doing, man. It's like they're electricians. Like you said, the guy's like grading the land, another guy's like digging a well, another one's repairing a roof. Like I don't do none of that shit, dude. It's like I can give you a deal on some furniture. I can make a small business bank. But I'm like, shit, I don't do none of that. I can pick up
Well, I
heavy
mean,
shit.
that's kind of my role. Like so around this is a flip house. You see, I did all that work. Now, don't get the
Mm-hmm.
inspector in here if the codes. I don't know what codes are, but like I can get stuff done. But when it comes to like serious stuff like that, especially when inspectors are coming behind and checking code, I'm not the guy. So my skills is finding the job that needs to be done, finding the guy who can do
Right.
it. So I mean, pivot that way. I mean, just talk to
So
people.
you're kind of delegating people, like
Yeah,
you're
yeah, absolutely. Like I'm boots on the
that's what
ground
I'm trying to do for sure.
when it comes to like recon missions. If security needs to be pulled, I'll pull that. Delivering it, absolutely, I'm there. But when it comes past that, I actually get more work done up here than when I do boots on the ground. So I was actually on my way down on Friday. Yeah, Friday, and 3 hours in, my freaking car decided no. So I had to
Uh,
turn around. So I was devastated, man. So what I was doing this time was I do insurance inspections up here. Um, and sometimes it's for the insurance company, sometimes it's against them. So what I do when it's against them is it's mainly roofs I do. So I'll just put it like that. Just say, hey, there's no hail up here. And I say, yes, there is. check out my report. Here's why. And if they say, okay, cool, we'll do four square foot patch, I then fight, hey, this is why it needs to be replaced instead of repaired. So I fight insurance and get the homeowner more money. So I was like, let me translate that down there, try to get them more money. So I've got 7 inspections scheduled, and I now am turning around. I'm in tears. I'm feeling like I let everyone down, man, because I've been playing it for 2 weeks. It's killing me, honestly. Like I've never felt worse. Like I felt like a failure. But I called one of the volunteers down there, and she was like, "No, we can make this happen." Blah blah blah. And I was like, "You know what? You're right. I'm focused on the problem. We focus on the solution." Called my wife. I said, "I'm on the way home. I'll be home in 3 hours, and when I get home, I'm gonna have this whole thing figured out."
Hmm.
By the time I got home, I had 2 volunteers saying that they could conduct the inspections and send me the picture so I can assemble a report to submit to the insurance. I'm not kidding, man. I had 7 inspections. 2 of them backed out. Well, one of them is going to send me photos. One of them was in Chicago. So he said, I'm just going to come back in January when you come down. So I had 5. All of them except for one was done by noon the next day.
Wow.
It would
Hell
have
yeah.
taken me till Tuesday. Yeah, it would have taken me till Tuesday. So now I'm focused on, okay, I don't need to be the one to physically do this work. I'm good at finding the work. So that
Right.
volunteers, they went, what was it? 3 supply runs to 2 families. A 4th one's happening tomorrow. Uh, Not only did I get him to inspect the roof, the lady told me there was 4 holes in the roof. So I got him to patch with insulate board and tarp. So she had a wood stove, but the heat was getting out and the cold was coming in through those holes. 3 windows busted out, so we got those patched. I mean, we got more work done in one day than I would have got done till Tuesday. So
That's all.
yeah, so I
Yeah,
mean, it's delegating.
that's what you guys are doing now, right? Like you're helping people to like basically with their claims or what is it? Like you're
Yep.
um
Like that lady with the holes, what they're saying is, oh, you didn't have flood insurance. And I'm like, oh, insurance, that's cute. It wasn't the flood that did that. And they're going to say,
right,
what do you mean? I'm going to say 1 hole, 2 holes, 3 holes. Yes, this house is water damage, not from flood water, from rainwater, from the trees impaling the roof, letting the water come in.
right.
I'm just going to appeal it 10 times if I have to. That's
Yeah.
that's one thing people don't realize. You can appeal all day long. Insurance is
Yeah.
going to have to send out an inspector for $200 to $500, depending on what the job is. Every time you say, no, I think you're wrong, appeal it, they're paying someone. Eventually they're just
Oh,
getting
no
pissed.
kidding. Yeah,
They're getting
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't
yeah.
know that either.
Oh yeah, they're getting pissed.
That guy was I met a guy who does this on a very, very big level. Um and you know, I looked him up and I was like, oh my God, he really checks
He's got
out
a
with this
hell of a
stuff,
resume.
does stuff for like the government, against the government, and like all this kind of stuff. Like he said he'd come out and talk at our church and stuff like about this thing. And he was saying that he didn't say exactly what you just said, but he said, dude, you guys have a claim, and if they say no, appeal it. And he said, chances are, if you stick with it, you'll get it. And he goes, but that's what they're banking on, is
Yeah,
that
you don't.
you don't have the ability to file one because you're like whatever, like your situation, you don't have communication, or your older person doesn't know how to do all this, or B, it's just like you think it's a one and done or whatever, or you just don't know how to submit it right. You don't have somebody
Yep.
telling you like, no, this is what really like this is the way you have to say it. Like
Complicated.
so, yeah, yeah. He said they make it complicated, is what I'm trying to say. I guess is
Yeah.
that
Oh no, I mean, I do this for a living, and I still get scope of works, just analysis of whatever, and I'm like, it's like I tell people, like all my customers, I do it. I do the decoding in front of you. I put it like this. I'm like, it's a puzzle. Doesn't matter how good at puzzles you are. If you get a 2,000 piece puzzle, you got to lay it out and look at it from afar.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I have to put together this puzzle. It's all verbiage. Sometimes it's POI on there, depreciation, only recoverable if this, and it's like they want to make it. It's so difficult. Half of the desk adjusters I talk to have no idea what they're talking about. None, zero, and that's their job. It's very difficult. I mean,
Oh yeah, it's
they
about to
took
just say
away
no.
depreciation, which we know has a definition, which is to lose value, and they made it something completely different.
Oh,
You can't just do that. Like that's like saying, yeah, this red. It's like, oh, the color red. You're like, yeah, but it's actually going to be yellow today. And it's like, you what?
Yeah, right.
There's
plus
no
they put the
difference.
woman. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
they just
Yeah.
want to make it as confusing as humanly possible. But message to you, insurance, no, no, you're not getting
Are
off.
you?
You're not getting
So
off.
you're like an actuary? Is that what you are?
I don't know. So I'm a multifaceted man. I own a drone company and a media company. I do a podcast as well. My podcast mics are right here. But
Oh, no kidding.
yeah, I do
I
Cool.
didn't know that.
the drums are right here. So I do all that jazz, but that's more for fun nowadays. Started my company trying to do that. Doesn't pay the bills. I don't know if you know, artists don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I went to
Well, I think I used
videos,
to do music,
videography
dude.
and stuff. Then I went to real estate. That led me to get my drone license, and then that led me to drone business. So I started doing roof inspections, and then that led me to the roofers saying, "Hey, you should sell roofs for us. You're already at the scene of the crime. Just say we can put a roof on while you inspect it." And I was like, "All right, I'll do that." So that just led me into the insurance world. I don't. I
Wow.
honestly, I truly believe that God put all this in my path because I recently, the last 2 years, when it all came apart or came together, and that Tech for Troops nonprofit I had sales at. Long story short, I got shoulder surgery. They told me they wanted me to head sales. I told them I couldn't do it for 3 months. They said, perfectly fine. Health is important. Take your time. It'll be here for you. Day before, supposed to start, they pulled out the offer from under me, just manipulated me. And
Oh,
I was like, screw you guys. I went off on the CEO. I was like, screw you guys, like blah, blah, blah. That's messed up. That's bad business. I don't do that. And I just felt the voice, God saying, this is where I need you to be. And I was like,
yeah.
don't want to be here. Because I didn't ask, did you want to be here? I need you here. And I heard it clear as day. I said, you know what? All right. So I called the CEO back and I was like, you're a prick. I want 5% more commission. But if you do that, I'll do it. And so he obliged. Well, come to find out, the business partner I have with the nonprofits, I met him there. So
Oh,
it's key. And then same with the insurance thing. The opportunity came. I was like, it's good money, but I hate being on roofs. I was like, I need you to be here right now. I was like, I hate
yeah.
insurance and I hate being on roofs. And he goes, you're saying you a lot. I need you.
Yeah.
All right. I've never heard God clear. So the last 2 years, I'm doing shit I don't want to be doing at all. So I'm in a place where I'm disrespected. I'm on roofs. I don't like being on roofs. I don't like heights at all. So come
I couldn't do it.
fast forward now, I'm like, oh my, I see what this is all for. Because if I can get these people 20,000 more claim, put in perspective, they're getting the highest claim that I have right now. They've been paid out $9,000. Their quote
Mm.
was 210 to rebuild.
Gee, oh
Every
man.
single other person, there was a $3,000 one. Every other one other than that was 1,000 or less. Same quote to rebuild. So even if I can't, if I can only get them 20,000, like I'm like, if I came down here with 20,000 cash and gave it to you, would that be a big deal?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like that. If I can do that, then that could change lives in North Carolina for forever. Like that could be massive. So I'm now convinced. I was here the last 2 years to meet my partner to make this nonprofit a thing and
Yeah.
to learn the ins and outs of insurance so I can help these people. I don't think it's
That's
Which a few years
awesome.
ago you would have never thought in a million years. Like this is
That's
brother.
almost the
I've been
same.
hanging on for 2 years at places I did not want to be, praying about every day. And just, I need you here. I'm like, why? I did at this point. At this point, am I just making this up? Are you even saying this? Like, I'm down. I'm like, it's been 2 years. I feel stagnant at this point. Again, I'm making good money, so it's not like we're struggling or anything, but it's not what I want to be doing per se.
they're
So
not excited about it, you know. It's
I'm
just it's
excited.
work.
Look up, I'm like, oh, cool. Let me get on this roof. Wonderful. But no, I genuinely believe like I was told to stay at Tech for Troops so I can meet my partner to make these nonprofits a reality and then learn the ins and outs of insurance. 'Cause like I said, it's not something you just pick up and do. So even if I only had half the time to train, I still don't think I feel confident to go get these people what they need because we're in a situation here. Well, they're already in denial mode. They don't want
Right.
they don't want to approve at all. So they're all you're walking into a fight. Whereas I walk into a job here, don't know what to expect. It could be anything. It could be 50-50, it could be 100% my way, but it's usually never lower than 50-50 here. There, I mean, you're walking in 10% success rate.
Wow.
You have to hit them
That
with
that's
facts.
horrible too.
They're just saying, I mean, every single adjuster is saying, wish I could help you, but you don't have flood insurance. So, okay,
Mm-hmm.
what about the freaking tree that's on the roof? Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's the issue. The issue is the water in this foundation, and that's from the flood.
Told my parents too about their shit.
I
Yeah,
had
and it's like
an adjuster tell me, he was like, well, the tree fell, yes, but the tree fell because of the flood.
From the flood. Yeah, that's what they told my parents was the tree fell because of the flood. I'm like,
Here's the
are
thing,
you
though.
able to kind of know that's what the one guy was telling me. He said that one of the main things he can help people with is knowing who you make the claim to. Like basically I'm sure you have to have a lot of knowledge to know like, okay, does this get submitted to FEMA? Does this get submitted to insurance? Like,
Yeah.
you know the difference.
Well, I always tell people, I mean, always go through insurance. They're there for a
Mhm.
reason. You pay for them. So, I mean, even if they say no, they just said no. I mean, they could say yes. Always go through insurance, first and foremost, always. And just shits and giggles, just appeal. Even if you don't think you can win, just appeal. Piss them
Mhm.
off.
Yeah.
Piss them off. I mean, insurance
After a
company,
while, it costs them a lot of money, like you said, and they're
Like,
just gonna
here's
be like,
some
all right, fine,
money.
dude, go away.
yeah,
Like,
it's
that's
they're so criminal. I mean, I can't. I got a roof approved today that has been going on for 3.5 months. Now that's the biggest, longest claim I've had in a real long time. But this lady, hey, I need you to send a contractor's report. I'm like, all right, Miss Emily, I got you. So I send it to her. She goes, received. Thank you. Next week, I'm like, hey, it's been a while. We got an answer. She goes, I'm waiting on the contractor's report. And I go, I sent it to you last week. You said you got it. She goes, well, I don't have it. And I was like, okay, well, send it again. Can you confirm you got it? Yep. Same that repeated 10 times. 10 times.
wow.
And finally, I mean, we had to go off on them. And it's insurance, it's the same thing with prisons. It's like, okay, why are we making money off of this crap?
Mhm.
Right.
Prisons exist to A, keep dangerous criminals off the streets, and B, to reform them, make them have a better life. Why are we having money involved in that?
Right.
Right.
You exist to help people in need. Why are we making profit off of that? Because if there's money involved, you're going to have your bottom line. And when we reach your bottom line, everyone under here, they're going to get told no when they deserve a yes. It's that simple.
Yeah.
It's I've always said if I was president, the one thing I'd do is I would somehow try to restructure insurance. No more you pay for it like it's private, but it's like a tax pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Need
You're
it,
absolutely
if you
right.
need it, you got it. It's that simple. Why are you making money? Why are you making millions at that? My cousin works for a now he works for a higher end insurance company. They do the LeBrons. He said they only had 3 West North Carolina claims and they paid them out. They make $3 billion a quarter.
Oh my
Whoa.
God.
Gee.
I said, did you say a quarter, my friend?
Yeah.
Now they're high end, but people who aren't high end, they have volume. So I'm sure they're somewhere close to that $3 a quarter. So it's like, if there's that
Mhm.
type of money in, there's only a handful of executives making the bulk of it.
Like you said, it's a little bit dirtier and colder than it needs to be.
A lot.
You
Yeah.
know, that it really is. Like I had a conversation with my therapist, and I said, there's a couple other stores in town that crush me by being deceptive and overcharging and all this kind of stuff. And I said it's starting to pay off slowly that we're honest and we really hook people up. Our customer experience is perfectly rated, all that stuff. I said it's great, but I'm broke as hell this month, man. I don't know how much longer I can do this. And she said, sometimes you got to find a balance. She
Yeah.
goes, some of those customers that you have that really do have money to throw around, let them throw it around.
Yeah.
She goes, and I said, that sounds terrible to sit there and kind of discriminate, like, oh, this guy has the money, charge him full price, but give this guy a deal because he's in a bad situation. But in all honesty, if it takes that for me to survive, it's like the guy down the street's still going to charge the rich guy more than
Yeah.
I am anyway. It sounds like with you though, it really was God put all these weird pieces together
Really.
for an outcome now, where they say like works in mysterious ways. And honestly, I've never heard about God more or seen God work more than I have in the last 2 months.
Oh yeah. Well, and I'm
God.
glad that you shared that because it's really inspiring. I hope that people, really pay attention to that because I said the same thing to my sister the other day, like I've always kept to myself and stuff and I never really wanted friends or anything like that. I wasn't interested in any of that and, I truly have never felt home anywhere else besides Detroit. And when this hurricane hit, as horrible as everything is, like I know for 110% fact that God has put me here for a reason. I'm in this place for a reason. I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be at this church. I'm supposed to be with these people. I'm supposed to be doing this. And all the crazy stuff that's happened in the last 4 years of us living in the state is because I'm supposed to be here. I know I'm supposed to be here.
It's like I know that, I can't do as much because I'm working all the time, but if I can help manage some of the stuff that she's doing with like donations, if I can get the word out through a podcast and stuff like that, keep the story alive, like I think that stuff's important in its own way.
It is very.
And watching people doing their little parts and having so much pride in it, it showed me like you said, like I don't have to be the one out there that's doing all the, excavating and this and that. I can be the one that's being the leader that I am. Like, at a small business, it's like you're delegating responsibility, you're creating avenues, you're
Mhm.
thinking all the time, and your best work probably gets done without you lifting a finger, except maybe to send a message or dial a phone.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, that's how it
Like,
is, man. We had our dispatch guys, like a couple of them are like, oh man, I just wish I was boots on the ground, feel like I'm doing a little more. And it's like you're dispatching every single all 70 people. You're you
yeah,
are you are getting and organizing all 70 to 100 jobs getting done today came from you. It's like
Yeah.
right.
and it comes from like
Without that communication, it don't happen.
third.
Um,
But I will say this real quick, uh, and I'm not taking a shot at different groups of people, but it shows you that some groups of people are real in what they say and others aren't. You hear about all these causes, like you hear about, the rainbow people, and you hear about the BLMs of the world and this, that, and the other.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
only people I saw coming together, just bringing these resources and doing things, they all had a cross on their trailer or on their neck or
and an
whatever. Like
American flag.
I didn't see no Muslims. I didn't even on X. I can't talk about the other one, but I'm just saying Christians stepped up more than anyone. Like that's all I'm saying. I didn't
The
see
churches,
the
yeah.
United Atheists of America rolling through like, let's save some people. No, dude.
No,
Thanks.
it's been one of those things too where everybody is just, like it really has been a push with God and faith because everyone that I've seen that's helped each other, it's like, okay, so you didn't vote for the same person I voted for. I don't care. I'm going to reach my hand out and pull you out of the floodwater because I love you. And that's what God wants me to do.
But I'm going to remind you
You
that
know.
you'll end up in some sort of floodwater if you continue to vote that